Welcome to the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, a podcast where we teach speakers how to land paid speaking engagements and corporate contracts. Each week, we deliver high-quality content that teaches you how to level up your speaking business. Be sure to join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group after having your mind blown by this information-filled episode. Now, here's your host, Ashley Kirkwood, lawyer and professional speaker. This is the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast.
Hello, my name is Ashley Kirkwood with the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast. I'm excited to be on here today. And let me just introduce myself for those of you who are joining and or listening for the first time. I own a speaking coaching business called Speak Your Way to Cash. Easy title. I also own a law firm called Mobile General Counsel, and the two have complemented each other quite well. And I love doing both and serving clients in both capacities. Now, today I'm going to talk about something, and I'm going to share some things with you all that I have not shared previously. And so I'm excited about kind of sharing my heart with you guys and giving you guys some things to consider as you go along your journey as a speaker. One of the things that came up recently at an event that it didn't even come up at the event. One of the things that I learned after my event is that some people were having thoughts of like, well, how do I determine my purpose as a speaker? How do I determine my topic? How do I know what I can do to change lives? How do I know what I should be doing to change the world? How can I move forward? It seems like everyone else is moving forward. It seems like everyone else has money to invest in their business and I ain't got it. It seems like everyone else is doing so great right now, but this pandemic has really hit me hard and I just don't know what I can do because I don't have everything that I need to get to the next level. And I want to work with the coach and I want to do the right thing, but I don't have the money. I feel like I don't have the time. I'm mentally exhausted. I'm physically tired. I just feel so lost. And I want to know, how do I find my purpose when it seems so hard to do so, but it seems so easy for everyone else? I'm just trying to talk to some people who may feel like that's where they're at. And if you've ever been there, just drop a me in the comments. And I'm going to drop a me in the comments because I remember how it felt to look at people winning and to not quite be there yet, but know in the back of my mind that I can get there. And I think that for a lot of people who are trying to figure out where they should go next, what they should do next, how they should succeed next, what they need to do to get to the next level, the hardest part isn't really like, a lot of y'all don't even deal with jealousy, if I'm being honest. A lot of you are just trying to figure out, what does it mean for me? Like, you're looking at other people winning, you're looking at other people succeeding, and you're not necessarily jealous, but you are trying to figure out, what does that mean for me? How do I find my path to success? How do I find my purpose? How do I find what I'm put here on this earth to do? If you've ever been there, just drop a me in the comments. Okay, so I'm seeing some me's come through, okay? We're going to be honest. We're going to be so honest today, and I'm so excited about it because I haven't really shared with you all my story so that you all know where I come from. And I was talking to my husband, per usual, right? Minister Chris gets me together every time. I was talking to my husband and he was like, I had seen this video. And the woman in the video was talking about these things. She was like, I just don't know where I'm supposed to be at in the midst of all this, in the midst of seeing everyone else win. I don't know where I'm supposed to be at. What does this mean for me? What does this mean for my career? How am I supposed to get to the next level? And one of the things my husband said to me is, he was like, I think people think that you just started doing this and that you are winning now because of all these external factors. But I want you all to know, when I got with my husband, I think I was 22 years old, and our first apartment was $550 a month. And that was on the southwest side of Chicago. Literally, I lived 10 blocks from 26 in California. Now, for those of you, any of you from Chicago, just drop Chicago in the comments. For those of you who know Chicago, you know that that is 10 blocks from the prison. So when I would go to work, I would take the same bus that people would take when they got out of jail home. Like, literally, I'd be on the bus and the convo would be like they just got out. and I remember taking that bus and thinking, okay, God, something has got to give. Something has got to give. Good morning. Good morning. Hey, Simone. Something has got to give. And so I was trying to figure out, where I was going to be in my life. And at the time I was working downtown Chicago. So even though I lived on the southwest side of Chicago, paying $550 a month for rent, didn't really have much extra or much else at the time, I was still going downtown Chicago to work. Now, here's what I want you all to remember. The blessing in this was this. I may have lived in an area that I didn't necessarily love, just being honest. I wasn't too thrilled about it, just being honest. However, God is so good that he allowed me the opportunity every single day to go downtown Chicago. And I remember I was able to look up at all the buildings and I was able to see the lake and I was able to take walks on my lunch break around and see all this luxury. Here's where I want you all to think about this. If you have, like, for those of you who did anyone who's watching live go to the Speak Your Way to Cash live event 2020? If not, y'all missed it because it was so dope. Oh my God. For those of you who were there, here's what I want you to know. If God allowed you the opportunity, right? And I believe in God, I believe in Jesus, whatever you believe in. If you were allowed for whatever reason to be in the space, in the room, even the fact that you're on this live right here today, having next level conversations, having the ability to interact with different people whose thought processes may be different than your own, that's a blessing. That means that there is more destined for you because guess what? If there weren't, you wouldn't even be hearing these conversations. You wouldn't even be comfortable listening to these conversations. You would immediately dismiss next level thinking. So I remember there wasn't always a time when I had the money to just hire like a $10,000 coach. And I didn't even know that was necessarily needed, right? Like that wasn't always where I was at. But I do remember very vividly, no matter where I lived or what I had in my bank account, there was always something in me that could see the beauty in being in a different environment. So I don't want you all to miss the fact that if you are even able to hear something different other than what you are typically used to, you are then responsible for that information and you need to make some decisions about how you're going to use it. But also there are some things that we need to do. So first off, we got to stop playing small. This is what I mean by that. Our language is so critical to our next step and our next development. There are a lot of people who will hear the cost of working with someone. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's not cheap to work with me. My VIP days are $10,000 and my program that I just launched was either $15,000 or $18,000. Now, the value of the program is probably, I don't know, invaluable, hundreds of thousands of dollars just based on the things that I'm working on behind the scenes. Like we're working on networking mixers just for Academy students with clients. My clients have told me they want to keep being involved in the Academy and learn more about the speakers who are joining. So, it's all relative. But the number one thing that you need to do, if you hear about an opportunity that you want, or you see a home that you want, or you see a car that you want, or you see, a restaurant that you want to go to, stop saying, ooh, that's expensive, and divorcing yourself from it. So that means, here's what that would look like. I want to buy a new car. The car that I like right now is, we just bought a new truck. We bought a new SUV and I like the SUV. The car that we wanted wasn't in stock yet. It was the Genesis. It's like the Genesis SUV. Have y'all seen it? It's super slick, right? And I'm not even like a car person necessarily. I've never really cared about the car. But now that I have a 2021 SUV, I now see why people buy new cars. I never really got it. Now I get it. But anyways, I really wanted this car and it's like, I don't know, $60,000. And I was very careful not to say, oh, this car is expensive. And the reason why I'm careful not to say that is because I don't want to get in the habit of training my mind to think that certain things are above me, right? Like it's just money. I work with the coach, Felicia Kelly, and one of the things she'll say to me, I just did a launch. It was a great launch, did really well. And I was telling her about it and she was like, it's just money. It's just money. And that's the thing. It's just money. These things that we make gods are not even that big of a deal. They're not even that big of a deal. And the reality is if you want something, and a lot of us have trained our minds, this is how you stop playing small. And in my mindset had to shift in this. If I want like a bag or a no, because bags aren't my thing. See, everyone has a thing. Some people are really into bags. That's cool. My thing is vacations. I love traveling luxuriously. You're not going to see me in a janky hotel. You're not going to see me, not getting served at the highest level when I'm traveling. We travel. We know how to travel. And when we travel, we look up the best restaurants wherever we're at. We eat there. We dine there. We travel well. So if I want to go on a particular trip and it's going to be $30,000, I am going to go on that trip if that's what I want to do. And I'm going to go on that trip because I want that experience. It's easy for me to justify spending, I think our most expensive trip to date maybe was $18,000, $19,000. I don't know if that's right. I feel like that's right. I think it was the trip to Italy. It was very, very nice. Well done. So I think that's like our most expensive trip. But if I wanted a 30K trip, I'd find a way to justify getting a 30-day trip because I want it. And it wasn't until I came into contact with a particular coach that was like, made me think about the same thing in terms of professional development. Some things people always have to over justify professional development. Well, I got to make sure I'm going to get a return on my investment. I got to make sure I'm going to do this. I got to make sure that they're legit. I got to make sure they're not a fraud. That stuff is easy to verify, but okay, I got to make sure of this. I got to make sure that. I got to make sure of this. But here's the truth. Here's the truth. Some things you invest in because you want them. You want to work with a person. You want to be in their sphere. You want to be affiliated with them. And so you invest in it because you want it. I would justify, spending money on a coach or spending money on certain things, but some things you do just because you want it. And I'll give you an example. Some of you all know this, some of you all don't. And I promise it'll come back around to speaking. I went to a low-ranked law school, right? Transferred, graduated from Northwestern, one of the top 10 law schools in the nation. Dope law school. Before I transferred, I asked my first law school, hey, I'll stay if you all run me $300,000. It was something like that, something real high. I needed them to pay all my law school plus give me $30K a year of living expenses. They said no. They were like, no, we're not going to do that because it's very unlikely that you'll even get into Northwestern to transfer. Now, inevitably, I got into Northwestern and then they were like, okay, we'll run you your money. We'll pay for everything plus give you the $30K a year you want to live off of. You don't have to come out of pocket for anything. And they said they would do it after I got in, after I'd done what I said I was going to do. Hey guys, I want to come in really quickly and tell you all about the Speak Your Way to Cash course. This course is for speakers who are looking to consistently book paid speaking engagements. In short, if you are ready to speak your way to cash, this is the course you need. There are over 17 modules. You heard that right, 17, that cover getting clarity in your speaking career, branding through the press, a 7-figure sales panel, selecting your niche and finding engagements, selling your signature speech and building it out, onboarding and offboarding clients, implementation and taking it to the next level. And then let me tell you about the 10 bonus trainings that encompass the 17 trainings that you're going to get. The bonus trainings cover things like branding as a speaker, the best tools for finding engagements, determining whether a topic is viable, speech writing for success, speaking techniques, self-publishing for speakers, sales success, landing association and college clients, navigating the conference market, and so much more. You even get the exact pitch templates that I use to land college clients over and over again, and the press pitch templates that I use. So look, you can get this course by going to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC course. ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC course. Or just enter Ashley Kirkwood Speak Your Way to Cash course in Google and it should come right up. Thanks guys for listening. Let's get back to this interview. But I decided to go to Northwestern and just pay for it out of pocket, take on whatever I had to take on to do it. And they said, and a lot of people were like, well, why would you do that? Because you didn't really need to do that. Like now you run your own business. You didn't even need to go to a great law school. I did it because I wanted it. I wanted to go to Northwestern. I wanted to have that connection. That was my dream school. So I was going to drop whatever it took to go there after getting in, right? And I think that for me, I have not had a real huge mental block about paying for things that I want. But sometimes people have a problem doing that because they don't always realize you deserve it. You deserve it. And more importantly, deserve is almost not even the right word. If you want something as an adult, get what you want. That's why a lot of your annual goals or your revenue goals or your speaking fees or all these different things are so hard for you to set. It's hard for you to set because you aren't used to just getting what you want. And before you can get what you want, you have to give yourself permission to go after what you want. And before you can give yourself permission to go after what you want, you have to believe that you'll get it in the first place because no one's putting in work to run a race they know they're not going to finish. No one is signing up for a race they know they're not going to be able to finish. They know they're going to drop out of. Nobody's doing that. And so in order for you to stop playing small, you have to be fiercely honest with yourself about what it is that you actually want. Like for real. And guess what? Some of you are so afraid of what you actually want, you've never even said it out loud. Sometimes as a speaker, the hardest part about your rate is not setting it. It is saying that that's your rate. For the first time. The first time you say your rate should not be to a client. Let me just put y'all speakers on game. And service-based entrepreneurs. It shouldn't be to a client. The price of your stuff is going up. The price of one keynote speech is $25,000. You don't want the first time saying that to be to a client. You want to start saying that every day until you believe it's your rate. Because guess what happens? The more you say, my rate is $25K, my rate is $25,000 for a 1-hour keynote. That is what my clients pay me. And that's because they require me to show up in excellence. And that is the rate to do it. The more you start saying that, when you start hearing, oh, $5K, that sounds small, right? Now something that at one point seemed so large, it was looming over you. Oh, this is such a high rate. Now it seems small because once you start playing at different levels, you can look back and it can seem small. That's why some coaches have a hard time coaching new entrepreneurs when they're already established, because looking back, it all seems so small and so inconvenient. But what I have always prayed is that God would make me grateful and allow me to remember how it was when I first started, so that I don't discount what I have done, and so that I can adequately coach those who are just getting started by giving them step-by-step processes and procedures to follow. So you want to start saying what you want. And if you can't say it publicly, some of you can. Some of you have no problem. Some of you drop your rate in the comments. My rate is X. My speaking rate. What's your keynote speaking fee? Is it 10K? Is it 15K? Is it 25K? I'm not asking you what you've gotten. I'm asking you, where are you going? What is the speaking fee that you're going to? Is it 25K? Is that your keynote speak? Is that what it costs to get you on stage? You need to write it. You need to write it down. You need to write it down, and then you need to start believing it, because guess what? That's the other hard part, the belief factor. The belief factor is one of the hardest parts. Now, let me tell you the thoughts of a successful person. Successful people police their thoughts. Somebody write that in the comments for me. Successful people police their thoughts. Successful people police their thoughts. Okay? And this is critical. Your speech and your thoughts, if you can start to police your own thoughts, your own speech, your own belief patterns, you're going to go to the next level, because that's what successful people do. Now, here's what I mean. Here's what I mean by this. Here's what I want you all to consider. I want you to consider the fact, and this is in the current, if you want to learn more about what I'm talking about and why I'm saying this, if you Google TEDx, The Currency of Confidence, or Ashley Kirkwood TEDx, The Currency of Confidence TEDx talk will come up. And that is actually the talk where I talk more about the mindset, beliefs, and actions. But one of the stats that I give in that talk is that you have 70,000 thoughts per day. 70,000. 70,000 is huge, right? Think of it in terms of this. If you made $70,000 today, you'd be probably like, okay, that's decent money. You know what I mean? Some people make 70,000 in a year. 70,000 thoughts per day. Do you know how much information we consume on a daily? How many? 70,000? 70,000 thoughts per day. If you are letting those thoughts run through your mind unchecked, how much negative information or unhelpful information are you putting into your mind, which then becomes your actions? You have to police your thoughts. You have to police your thoughts. You want to make sure that you are actually accountable for what you're thinking. You don't want those thoughts to run rampant. So yes, successful people police their thoughts. All right. If you all have comments or questions, drop them in the comments. I'm looking at my monitor because if my baby wakes up, I got to go. It is hard for me to say yes to 10K because it was hard for me to come by. And honestly, I'm afraid of the risk in investing in me because of how hard it was to reach it and not knowing if I will see the return. What's your advice? Okay. So it's hard for me to say yes to 10K. I'm assuming you mean a 10K investment in your business or in yourself. Okay. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Here's how I determine if I'm going to invest with someone. These are the processes and the thoughts that I go through. Number one, has the content that they have already put out in the marketplace helped me? This is number one. Some of you put this in the comments because someone's going to watch this and they're going to need to know. Number one, has the content that they've already put out helped me? Period. Yes or no? Has the content they've already put out helped me? Number two, have they helped anyone else similarly situated? What does this mean? If you're a speaker and you're like, I want to join Speak Your Way to Cash Academy. Most of you don't know what that is because I only launched it to people in my retreat, but that'll change. Whatever. DM me if you want to know more about that. Have they helped anyone else similarly situated? So you want to ask yourself, have you taken any other speaker from being low paid or not paid at all to booking paid engagements? I have. The answer for that is yes. You can see all the receipts for that. Okay, great. So you've helped other people, right? Here's the third one. Can I afford it? Can I afford it? Can I afford it? And here's what I mean by that. There's two pieces to affordability. A lot of people think affordability is financial only. It's not. Can I afford it in money? And can I afford it in time? And then here's the real thing. what happens if I don't do it? How confident am I that if I do not invest with this person, I will get the same results that they could give me? I'm going to repeat that. How confident am I that if I do not invest with this person, I can get the same results I would get with them? Period. Ask yourself this question. And I'm going to tell you, I just dropped $17,000 on one coach, another $5,000 on another, and another $5,500 on someone else. And they all have different specialties. I have several different coaches and people. But here's the other thing. Could I afford it? Yeah, I had the money or I knew I could get the money if I was doing like a payment arrangement or something like that. But the reality was I knew that I was going to do the work. So if they gave me strategies that work, they told me what to do. I'm an implementer. I go hard. Like, you're not about to give me good instruction, good wisdom, and I just sit back and say, oh, that's nice. That's nice. I'm going to think about it. No, if you tell me, first off, because you all know I worked with Felicia Kelly on something very specific. The specific thing that she helped me with was content writing. She helped me with other things too, but the main thing was content writing. Her unlocking, I have a gift for writing content. Her giving me a formula to better utilize my gift unlocked tens of thousands of dollars in my business, period. A lot of you have gifts. You can't see your gifts. Guess who can see it? The right coach, the right consultant, the right person on your team. That's who can see your gifts. I've had people come to me, like I have a client, Jackie. Jackie's dope. She's also my health coach. I'm her client. She told me that, she does health and fitness, all these different things. And she was just trying to figure out what's her signature speech. How do we position it? We're talking. And I was like, your signature speech is the wealth of wellness. She was like, whoa, that is powerful. Of course it is. Because guess what? That's my gift. My gift is to unlock and to clearly see other people's signature programs, signature platforms, and then help them to package it in a way that they can monetize it with the right consistent efforts. That's my gift, which is why for those of you who were at the live event saw that I could coach people in 20 different industries and give each of them exactly what they need to take their business to the next level as it relates to speaking and consulting, because that's my gift. Now, for people who are struggling with determining, they know they're a good speaker, they know they have the right information, they can afford it, and or they can afford to get on it. They can't afford to pay $10K in full. They can afford to do $1,200 a month. And then they decide, okay, later on, I'm going to just go ahead and pay the whole thing off. All of that can happen. And so the reality of it is you can't afford, a lot of you, not to work with the right people who have the qualifications, who have the client success stories, who have the level of expertise, who are making money, who know how to do it, and who aren't afraid of big ideas and big possibilities, who aren't dream killers. You really can't afford not to. If you don't do it, what's going to happen? A lot of people are like, oh, I'm going to join next year. I want to help. I want to join the academy next year that you have, or I want to work with you next year. Next year, it could be $100K. Like, you don't know. And I'm just being honest, because guess what? Rates change. They just do. There were people I wanted to work with. I waited. Their rate doubled. It just did. It just did. And guess what I had to do? Because I waited. I had to pay double because I wasn't acting fast on what I knew I wanted and what I knew I needed. So you want to think through that. So hopefully that helps and answers the question. Now, I want you all to recognize something that a lot of you may not have recognized yet. Yes, you can only take yourself so far, but you need help. Exactly. That's exactly true. Some of you are thinking that you have a sporadic past. Like, I don't know what my speaking topic should be because I have a sporadic past. I've done so many different things. How do I know what I'm good at? How do I know what I'm great at? That's a packaging issue. You just need someone to help you to package your speech. I always talk about the FAME method. It's the proprietary way that we analyze what your speaking topic should be. F, what do friends and family say about you? A, where can you command an audience that can pay you? M, what are the different ways that you can monetize that particular topic? And then E, what is your education and expertise? You're going to want to look at those 4 areas to figure out what exactly it is that you should be speaking on, because that it's going to be in one of those 4 areas. It's going to be in one of those 4 areas, period, right? And after you look at those 4 areas, you're going to have to then think, okay, my life tells a story. How do I analyze it? And let me tell you what I mean. So I was talking to my husband and my little baby's waking up. So this will be quick. So if you all have questions, drop them in the comments. And for those of you who are listening this on the Speak Your Way to Cash podcast, you can always watch live in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. For those of you on IG who are like, oh, this is good. Where you been at, girl? In the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. So here's what you should consider and here's what you should think. I have done a lot of different things across the course of my career, but there are some trends. I did a lot of work with online internet marketing. My first job, or my second or third job out of college, was working for cards.com. I was a digital experience consultant, which meant I helped car dealerships to monetize their cars online. I helped them move their car lot to the internet and help them develop different online marketing strategies that would help them make more money. Then I worked at a company called A Mighty River. I helped people there to find different careers utilizing like a job board platform. I was like the digital media consultant behind it. Then I went to law school, right? And I did trial work. Then before all of this, I was in college. And while I was in college, I was on the board for the University of Illinois that actually determined what speakers were able to get paid to speak at the university. My personal budget was $60,000, but all of us had our budget. And my budget was the smallest on the board because I was over cultural programs, and how many know they ain't trying to invest as much in cultural programming as some of the other greater programming that helps all the students on campus. All of those experiences now help me to run the business that I run now. Now I make money online and offline, but a lot of our marketing is focused online. So all of those experiences have gotten me here. Working and hiring speakers in college and negotiating contracts in college helps me both as a lawyer and as a speaking coach because I've seen those contracts for more than a decade. I was even dealing with them in 2007. Like all of this came together, but it wasn't until recently when I sat down to audit my story that I realized, whoa, there are some trends here. There are some themes here that I need to really work on and figure out how to parse out into one concise package. So some of you may think your past isn't relevant or your past doesn't apply, or how do you make your past work into your future? You got to audit it. You have to write out all of your experiences, not in resume format, but to figure out where are the trends, where are the themes, because that's where you're going to be able to find what you need in order to package your experience. It's in your story. It's in your past. It's in the things that you already have been doing. And what do you enjoy? What do you like to do? Who do you really want to help? And then how can you monetize that? How can you monetize that? So look, this has been dope. I want you all to do something for me. For those of you who are watching live, I have a training coming up. It's invite only and it's private. A lot of people will have to apply. But for those of you who are in the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group or you're watching this live, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/private invite 2020. ashleynicolekirkwood.com/private invite 2020. If you're on Facebook, the link is in the comments. If you're on YouTube, the link is in the comments. If you're listening to this podcast, it's exactly as it sounds. ashleynicolekirkwood.com/private invite 2020. I'm having a training coming up. And in this training, we are going to actually talk through a few different things. And what we're going to talk through specifically is how and what you should be doing now to prepare for 2020. And then I'm going to tell you guys ways in which you can work with me in 2020 because the ways are limited and getting smaller as time goes on. So if you have any questions, DM me on Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show or Facebook. For those of you who attended the event, you already know what it is. It was an amazing, amazing, amazing experience. If you're still considering the Academy, but you're on the edge and you want to know what that looks like for you, then send me a message and I'm happy to talk to you about that. But this has been amazing. Thank you guys so much for your time. I'm going to try to come on and do some more of these lives and hopefully I will be able to tell you guys in advance. But I will talk to you then. And if you're joining me at that private training, let me know that as well. All right. Wasn't that interview amazing? If you're anything like me, you have pages full of notes. But here's the thing. Before you head out, I want you to go to facebook.com and join the Speak Your Way to Cash Facebook group. That is where I am. That's where a ton of other speakers are, a ton of other people who listen to the show. We all congregate there and chat. And it's 100% free. Now, if you're ready to take your speaking career to the next level, I have two ways for you to do that. One, you can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com/SYWTC live replay and pick up the live replay. That training is 7 modules, chock full of information. It's crazy. Go over there, read all about it. Or if you want a more personal experience, you already know that you want to be a speaker, you're ready to fully commit, and you want someone to walk you through it and save you tons of time Googling and doing it on your own, then book a VIP day with me. You can go to ashleynicolekirkwood.com, scroll down until you see the VIP day section, and get more information on that there. All right. Thank you guys again for watching. Please do not forget to leave us a review. That is how we keep this train rolling and get some of the best speakers in the world to get on this show. So please, please, please leave a review. Shoot me a message on Facebook or Instagram, and Facebook in the Speak Your Way to Cash group, Instagram at the Ashley Nicole Show. And I'd be more than happy to chat with you and say hi. All right, y'all have an awesome, awesome day.